Hey friends, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I am doing a second part of a series where I'm answering some questions about the supplies that I love to use in my planners and specifically in my Hobonichi. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately about the Tombow markers, the colors that I'm using, and so I thought I would share with you, these are basically all of the colors I have. Primarily these are the ones that are my most used, I would say, at this point. I am leaning more towards the neutrals now. And so I wanted to show you each of those. I'm going to swipe them on the Hobonichi and then on also just 32-pound paper so that you can kind of see the difference. Sometimes they show up a little bit different on each of those platforms. And then I wanted to give you some ideas of how I've been putting these to use in my planner. So we'll walk you through that a little bit too. I have them all written in order here, so I'm going to come through and I'm going to swipe. You'll see how light that is, and that seems funny to use in a Hobonichi, but I'm going to show you an example of when I might use a color like that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can pick up on that, but it is slightly softer here on the Tomoe River paper. This has a little bit more, color to it. I love both ways, the way these look. So now that I've walked you through all of my favorite colors, let's take a peek inside my planner and I will show you 5 ways that I use Tombow markers in my planner. I've pulled out my 2021 planner because I have some actual samples here. You're gonna see that I like to use these colorful dots up here on the sidebar, and then I just do my best. I don't have every color and sticker matchup, available, but I just kind of pull what I can that works accordingly. So throughout the month of October, you're gonna see these colors pulling up. And I just enjoy sticking these stickers here. They're little reminders, and as I'm busy planning out my week and when I go to make marks in my planner with Tombows, I just try to see what color have I not used in that, and I pull out that marker just to try to get a little bit of balance on my page to make sure all the colors are represented. And then I love just looking back through my pages and seeing the cohesiveness. I kind of went more neutral route in November, just some really warm browns and still taupes. In December, I made the switch to these 3 primarily and just let those reappear over and over on my pages, and so you can kind of sense that same color scheme happening throughout the entire month. And now in January, I've chosen these 4 Tombows to just use throughout the entire month. I put my other Tombow markers away. They're available but slightly tucked away. These are in my pouch ready to grab, so I'm kind of narrowed down to what I'm using, and it just makes the decisions really simple. I don't know if you noticed, but these 2 colors appear quite often in my monthly themes. I mean, it seems like they were coming out, and so I went ahead and decided that I would order some stickers that I felt like coordinated nicely. So I definitely feel like this N89 matches up beautifully with the ecru color transparent stickers from the Planner Spot. Then the taupe ones work really well with N79. And of course, I went ahead and grabbed some blush because one of these pinks is going to coordinate really nicely with that. I don't think it even matters. I could use either or, any and all. But these are beautiful baseline for things that I will use over and over and over because they match my markers. I have inks that coordinate nicely, and it's almost like a capsule wardrobe for my planner. How excessive is that? But I love it because when you can just pull anything out of your closet and it mixes and matches, it's a wonderful thing. And that's what I'm kind of leaning towards with stickers. Instead of just having random ones that don't play well with others, why not build this really good foundation and then trickle in the crazy colors when you want to, and they work nicely as a pop. Okay, speaking of that, when you do go ahead and narrow down your Tombow colors that you have available and you start to pull in some other stickers and supplies that coordinate, there's always the option to color code. And that's something that I used to do a lot of in the past when I was managing my kids' schedules, my husband's schedule, and my own chores and things I needed to get done. So I would recommend Tombows would be a really great way to do that. You could assign a color to a person in your life. You could assign a color to, one to work, one to personal, one to your side hustle. There's a lot of ways you can go with these. And so when you have things appear in your calendar and you can look at one glance and be like, boom, everything taupe is for me, everything pink is for my daughter. It really does help, and I used to really rely on that. Like I said, I'm no longer tracking my kids' schedules. Thank you, Jesus. And then I'm a lot freer to just use whatever colors I want in my planner when I feel like using them. So I just look at the balance and try to see which one have I not used for a while, and that's what I do. But if you had a color code strictly guiding your choices, that would make it really simple because everything you add for that person or for that thing would always be in that one color. So keep that in mind. One of my favorite ways to use Tombow markers in my planner is to check off completed tasks. It's very satisfying. A little check mark I will do if I'm just sitting here with my pen and I don't have a marker nearby. I will do a little check, but it is so satisfying to come back like at the end of the day and really, you know, chug through the things that I did get done. I don't have a check mark there yet, but I know I have done that, so I get to cross it off. And then at the end of the week, when I'm going to migrate my tasks, anything that didn't get done this week that needs to carry over, it's so much easier to identify those by just a quick glance. Check marks can kind of blend in just with handwriting, but a nice marker swipe, goes a long ways. The fourth way I recommend using these is to add structure. And you're gonna see that I've accomplished that two ways with very light and very dark colors. So I do enjoy using this darker taupe or some of my darker colors to come through and add those sections for my planner. I feel like they make a nice bold line and it really does draw my eye. I don't go all the way across. I don't use a ruler. I just kind of freehand it across and it works out really well. They're forgiving because they're not so stark and so dark that they just show any error, but they're dark enough to show up. So there's that. And then I mentioned earlier how these light colors really can be put to use. And I don't know if you guys can see, I hope you can, but there's this really faint line right around 11 a.m. and around 2:30. And that's kind of my time blocking. Those are my meals. And it's like, what do I want to get done before that, after, and then what's going on in the evening, or, you know, snack and beyond, that can kind of help break up my day. I would like to get even more intensive with this time blocking, but I'm baby stepping in, so I've gotten 2 little time blocks. But this is such a like friendly reminder. It's just light, it's there saying, hey, are you paying attention to this? But it's not like alarming, like if I don't follow it exactly, it's not bothering me. It's just there as a light reminder. So these colors come in really handy for that. Speaking of structure, I also like to come through and add a little bit of structure on my dailies. I'll kind of explain it as I go, but obviously I come through on Sundays and I hand letter, actually just scribble, in the inbox, and so I always keep Sundays as an inbox. But I also like to come through and just, this is such a light color, it's going to be a little bit hard for you guys to see it, but I really like the way it turns out. I come through and I divide my daily page into the same sections every day, and it kind of allows me room to add the things that I might want to add. There is like no absolutes here. These are just areas that I'm basically committing to something so that I know that if I want to track my meals, I have a space. I'm not like, by writing another thing in here, I'm not foregoing something else that I want to do. I hope that makes sense. So I write my workouts here. This is usually just a recovery day or a run. And then down here, I just say today. And usually I write that better and I spread it across nicer, but I'm on camera, so I'm scribbling. But yes, so workout, meals, today, and then this section is open. So like for instance, you see here that I decided this would be a spot to track my social media for the month of January. This is going to be my inbox. And then I also have a section here for today, which can be journaling, it can be a to-do list, it can be whatever I want it to be. So there's just another way to add some structure into your planner using your Tombow markers. Okay, so the last way that I want to show you how to use Tombows in your planner is stamping. So I'm going to actually show some footage of when I was putting together my January index here. I just went ahead and took this darker color again and used it to mark up my stamp. Then I went straight to the paper and voila, you get this lovely crisp image. The beautiful thing about this is if you don't get it exactly perfect, you can come through and write directly onto your paper with your pen to kind of fill up any gaps. And I would highly recommend darker colors in this situation. These lighter colors, like I've shown you, the soft pinks, probably are not going to show up to a degree that you'd be able to really see them, but some of these darker colors are. So that's when it's safe to have a few dark colors in your arsenal and just go ahead and use those to stamp away on your pages. These markers do not bleed through the Tomoe River paper, so it's really a friendly way to get some inking, stamping done on your pages without the risk of bleeding through and all the other things that we worry about, the shadowing, etc., etc. So if you've been eyeing Tombow markers, the dual tip pens, and you haven't been quite sure how to put them to use, I hope that this video gave you guys some ideas. I hope that you're willing to give them a try in your planner. Tag me, let me know if there's something new that you try with them, or if you have another idea of how you're using in your planner, please share it in the comments below, because I'm always open to new ideas and I suspect everyone else would be too. So I hope that you guys have fun markering up your planners, getting that little tiny bit of creativity in here amidst all of the to-dos and the schedules. So I hope that you guys enjoy kind of incorporating a tiny bit of beauty inside your plans. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, is to try to get these things done, but also to enjoy the process and to have that little bit of creativity here in my planner. And I thank you for sharing this journey along with me. Thank you for joining me here. Until next time, you guys take care.